Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Um, Sorry, I couldn't get the thing open. I think I was in the wrong place. Remember when I was fooling with the the bubble or the comment thing yesterday? Well, it was still left in the wrong position. Hello to Lydia Washington. Thank you so much for being here. Mary H., Helen Marmon, Ingrid Sowers, CK, Emma D., Connie Balmer. Hey, Connie Balmer. Let me see who else. Lola Love, and a host of friends and others. Oh, is the membership thing working? Let me see if I can put that at the top of the chat. Let me see here. Membership. Okay. There we go. If you have not received a membership yet, please make sure you go to the link at the top of the chat and start your own membership. They start as low as $4.99, but there are some that are even higher. If it wasn't for those memberships and all those days that I've missed, I don't know how I would make it. So thank you very much for the memberships. Do you know? I was having some flashbacks about that period I was off. And gosh, that was sobering. I'll just say that it was sobering. Um, yeah, I guess the reality of it is just kind of like just creeping in on me. Um, but anyway, I'm here. I feel good. Um, and my head's a little grayer, and but I'm here, and that's what's important is that I'm here and I feel good, and and I'm still able to do this. So win-win. I feel good about that. Okay. So what are we exposing? I'll get to that. Let me hide my face here. Michelle Breathwaite, thank you for being here. Francilia Mosley, thank you for being here. Esmeralda Dillon, thank you. Violet Maxwell, thank you. Joya Moore, Cherry Hill, Gwendolyn Daniels, Big Mama Novi D, Hazel Jones, Nithalando Niandini, B. Thomas, Maurice Brown. Okay, let's get on with it. So, I think we all seen this one before, but it was making its way around again yesterday. So I thought, I'll share it anyway. What a handsome couple they are. Yeah, I don't know if this is a AI or if there is an artist, but I love the whole combination. It really, really works, and it just kind of captures the magic that is Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Okay. Now, no, Meghan Markle wasn't cropped from Prince Harry's birthday photo used by King Charles and Prince William. The image was taken during a 2018 visit Prince Harry and Meghan Markle took to Ireland not long after the royal wedding. Okay. First of all, it's a great photo, cropped or not, but I don't believe it was cropped. And even if it was, it is Harry's birthday, so that's not a big deal. According to The Independent, Buckingham Palace confirmed via a spokesman that the image used was not altered and was used in the format it was received. meaning that Meghan was not cropped out of the shot. Okay, I'm gonna say this. Um, I'm trying not to be so reactive to everything because one of the ways that the enemy really um, can win the war is to make you so nervous, to have you as jumpy as a virgin at a prison rodeo. That's how the enemy wins because you push back, strike out, lash out at the worst possible time. However, if I do overreact, if I do, shall we say, show some unwarranted aggression or frustration and hostility, if you were not doing all the other stuff you were doing, then that probably wouldn't happen. If you corner someone often enough, if you bully and you know victimize someone often enough, at some point they're going to push back and it can get really ugly. So I am going to give a blanketed so what for the times when I may actually overreact because it's only because of all of the whispering and conspiring, the and the leaking from those other two houses of Windsor that has made people react a certain way where we get very defensive about even the smallest thing. Not exactly the place I want to be, but it is what it is. So if they stop all of this, oh, I don't know. Um, I would say briefing and leaking, and of course, their own brand of bullying, then we can learn to trust again. But trust takes a long time. And so far, they have not stopped with the leaking and the briefing. The only reason why they're not doing it as much is because the Sussexes are in Montecito. And we know that in Montecito, there are no leaks. That's the only reason why it doesn't happen as much. However, that does not stop them from recycling a bunch of old news, even if it's made up news, which is what's been kind of bothering me the past couple of days, is this campaign that they have been waging against Meghan on Harry's birthday. It was so deliberate and so contrived and so made up. And then, of course, just like that photo that, the photo that William supposedly took, that same photo that Kate admitted to butchering, the one that had all of the like body parts misaligned and such. Um, well, the thing um, the point I'm trying to make is it's very hard to trust, right? And then when you have that manner of I guess monarchy versus the Sussexes, where you get very little actual real time news. I mean, two big trips abroad, and they had no idea that they were happening. No idea. They didn't find out until they wanted them to know. And even then, they were shut out of it. So I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, maybe you didn't crop them out the photo or crop Megan out of the photo. I'm going to I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. It's unfortunate, but if it wasn't for all of the other manipulative stuff that they have been doing, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. We wouldn't even be having this conversation. So this is the photo that they used for Harry's birthday, right? And well, that's it. Here we go, right? Oh, by the way, this photo is Harry and Meghan in Ireland. That's the outfit that Meghan was wearing. And then this is a wider angle of the photo. So let me take a look at that again. I want to believe them. I mean, even if it is a crop, okay, even if it is cropped, it's a great photo. And there is someone, in front of Meghan. They say that's how they received the photo. I don't know. Maybe they ordered it from someone and they were the ones that cropped it. It seems like a shuttle. It seems like a subtle bit of shade. Let me take a look at Harry's hand. I'm looking at his hand. Yeah, that seems like it's definitely the photo. Wait, take a look at the little boy over to the left side there. Let's see how he lines up. Yeah, this is the actual photo. All right, it needed to focus on Harry, right? And well, they're trying to extend an olive branch, or is this just deception? Whatever it is. Ugh. Ugh. I don't know. I don't know. Again, no apologies if I misread their intentions, because they have earned our suspicion, right? They have earned our suspicion because of how shady that they have been. Yes, that is a very good question. All of the photos of him alone, why pick this one? Well, okay. I'm going to give a partial answer, or a partial explanation. They wanted a photo of Harry doing royal duty, doing his, working directly for the firm, right? So maybe, but then again, it's not a recent photo. It seems like with all of the recent photos of Harry available, why choose this one? Why would you go back to 2018 when there's so many more up to date photos? How about a photo of Harry accepting the Pat Tillman Award? How about a photo of Harry accepting the NAACP Award or the Ripple of Hope Award? Or how about Harry accepting the the legacy, what is it, the Legends of Aviation Award? How about that one? I mean, there are quite a few, right? So why not that one? There's some from here in the States, as they say. Very valid point. Thank you so much for that. Mary H says, I'm more than sure they had other pictures of Prince Harry to use. They were being nasty, and to start this kind of debate, nasty. Yeah, yeah, it does give them an opportunity to be very nasty and to send a message. That it does. Antoinette Johnson, thank you so much for becoming a new member of Royal Sussex. That is very, very kind of you. Thank you so much. And thank you for supporting this channel. And thank you for trusting me to do this work. Ooh, ooh, that kind of stings, huh? This so-called olive branch is more like a twig. All right. All right. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but considering the history, it seems rather suspect. It really does. It really does. I guess the only thing that I'm hoping for is that one day there will be the opportunity to just rest and relax without fear of some type of conspiracy taking place. But until that time, I guess it's just not possible. It's just like my I haven't told this story in a while, but I'll tell you something that was a bit of a revelation, a aha moment for me. Years ago, like so many of you, I watched the movie Color Purple. And I remember how Sophia was so full of life and so liberated and sure of herself. And it was that personality that attracted Harpo, right? Remember? And so Harpo really loved Sophia because Sophia was just, you know, just happy go lucky, intelligent. All she wanted was a partner in marriage, what they would call a modern woman at the time. And there was a problem though, because in the community, in his family, Harpo's family um, thought that if you do not, you know, control your woman, so to speak, using, um, you know, a thumping here and there, then you're not really being a man. And Harpo was like embarrassed that he didn't seem manly enough to his peers or his father or whatever. And so he tried it. And what happened? Harpo shows up with a black eye. And Harpo swore up and down it was old Joy the Mule that hauled off and kicked him in the eye. But everybody else kind of knew, nah, that was Sophia. You didn't do it right. So he tried it again. So he went after her. She went after him. They went back and forth. Now, let's fast forward to the point in which Sophia was arrested, jailed because of the disrespect she received from the wife of the mayor of this community that was obviously full of racism. And so, when normally people, black people in that community, would either sidestep or downplay or just plain back down in the face of racism, Sophia just did not have it in her to do it because Sophia had been, well, bullied so much by Harpo that she didn't know how to back down. She didn't know how to do anything but stick her chest out with pride and just let people know I'm not the one. So, where's the revelation in this story? I'm going to tell you. I kept thinking about a line in the movie where they told Harpo, they said, if it wasn't for Harpo, the white folks never would have got her. And I just could not figure out what that meant. And then one day I realized that it was because of this attempt to break Sophia's spirit and make her this obedient wife that she, in the least little thing, and not only would she push back, she'd push back hard. But in the face of racism, she ended up being knocked out cold, jailed for some years. And when they finally let her out of jail, she was so broken, she ended up working as a maid in the woman's house that was so racist. Do you get what I'm saying here? And so that's what I finally figured out what that line meant is that if Harpo wasn't spending so much time trying to break her spirit and control her, then maybe that situation could have been avoided. And that's why I say sometimes you really do not have to apologize for overreacting, because life and circumstances can harden your spirit so much that even when it makes sense to calm down, you just can't. So that is my explanation for that. So that's why I say supporting the Sussexes or in your own personal life, there will come times when you know it ain't necessarily reasonable, but in that moment, you have been effed with so much that you don't know how to turn it down. So, unfortunately, that is something that a lot of women go through, and in particularly black women, because sometimes it seems like the whole of Western society and culture seems to have an end for black women. And that's why I say this whole thing with Meghan, they're using her blackness against her, and maybe they're hoping to provoke a reaction, right? Maybe they're hoping to provoke a reaction, something that will be public and loud and obvious, and a way for them to say, "See, I told you so." That's what I believe. I believe that they want a reaction, and they're still, after all this time, trying to break her, trying to break her spirit, trying to break her resolve. Meghan has been quite the activist her whole life. And yes, when she is right about something, she can be quite stubborn. And I think where that's concerned, the Sussexes are a good match for each other, because they both ask a lot of questions about why do we have to keep doing things the wrong way? Why do we have to do things that are counter to the movement of society? Why must we look back to the past? Why must we keep doing the wrong thing just because? So I think where that's concerned, they're a good match for each other. And I believe that strength that they have is what really draws them together. So, tell you what, if you have the color purple or you have access to it again, go ahead and watch it and tell me what you think of my hypothesis. Let's see. Francia Mosley says, I believe that Harry is the perfect partner for Meghan. Together they shine. Yes, and together they are willing to challenge conventions for the sake of individuals' growth. They want people to shine and grow and live up to their potential. Yeah, when they had that little Fab Four thing, and Meghan said something that was very feminist, that was very proud and feminist. They don't like people so proud and so free, especially not a woman. Maurice Brown says Baron Prince Harry and Meghan Markle and their real friends are too smart for that ish. They will not let them break her, and neither will we. Absolutely. You got a bell for that. Absolutely. The watch the original Color Purple, not the musical one. Absolutely, the original. The original. It seemed like people could not take the fact that Oprah was too, well, Sophia was just too proud. Too proud. She loved herself. And that challenged the conventions of the time. So, yep, I tell you, it took some years, but I kept thinking about that line. I'm just like, what was that? Yeah, because in the South, I mean, let's face it, in the South, or any rural place around the country, or any place where, as a black person, you find yourself alone, you can get in a lot of trouble. Back in those days, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble just by demanding to be treated with respect. Here, here, Rory. Absolutely. Violet Maxwell says maybe they should let Harry be king. He would have that country back to normal and help people and not hurt them like his pa and Baldy did. And Horseface needs to go back to her barn. Absolutely. Oh, Connie Bomber. There's a lot of material out there. And I tell you, I think that a lot of situations that I feel my way through it out of instinct more so than anything else. But then also, um, as a child, if you, let's say, I mean, there's not many people alive that were born during the Depression, let alone has any memory of the Depression. But the thing is, a lot of the Depression era values kind of trickled down. And so I remember my grandparents, they kind of had that very frugal, I don't trust banks type of mentality. And the same goes for, racism, Jim Crow and such. I can remember as a kid, there was a boundary to the neighborhood, and I could not walk through the white neighborhood. The only way that I could go in that direction, I had to stay on the main street. You couldn't like just go directly down one block after the other. When you get to the first big street, then you have to cut over and go to the other big street and then keep going that direction, which is so weird because now when I go back to the old area, I see that there are Black and Latino people living in those homes that were only meant for white people. I mean, but it was a boundary, and you just knew not to cross that line. And it was weird too because my elementary school was on that boundary. And so there were no white kids going to that school, only black kids. They had a school further. I actually, to be honest with you, I never knew where their school was, but they could literally cross the street and go to the same school with me, but they did not. It was just well understood you don't cross that boundary. It's a very odd way to grow up, but it seemed so normal at the time. I honestly didn't know the difference. So the only time that I would ever be around white people at that time was either at school, in the grocery store, or something like that, within the confines of that neighborhood. Um, but yeah, you just did not cross that line. So I don't know when it was desegregated, but I remember very clearly that boundary. Okay, let's get on with it. Thank you all for letting me reflect on that. Winsome Jones, thank you for the super sticker, and thank you for being here tonight. So interesting. I hadn't thought about that in so long, but yeah, I remember that boundary. You could not go through the neighborhood for nothing. Now, a friend says Kate Middleton is sending a message: F the haters, F the press, F Harry and Meghan. Well, then, now when I saw this, oh, thank you for being here, Connie Bomber. When I saw this, I didn't think it was a real thing. And so I kept skipping over it. And then I said, you know what? I am going to go ahead and validate or verify this article. And yes, it is a real article. So Kate Middleton announced the completion of her chemotherapy treatment on the September 9th, revealing the news in a video message featuring footage of her family enjoying some time together. And according to a friend of the Prince and Princess of Wales, the video was meant to send a strong message for the future. It's the reset to end all resets. The insider tells the Daily Beast that Kate and William, as they mean to go on, is family first and flip the haters, the press, and Harry and Meghan. The source adds that it helps that they actually are like this. If they go to a kid's birthday party at their house, they will be the ones organizing games for all the kids, whereas the rest of us would happily get an entertainer in and be drinking wine. I don't really get this article. In the video message, Kate indicates how much her perspective on life has changed since her cancer diagnosis. The cancer journey is complex, scary, and unpredictable for everyone, especially those closest to you, she confesses. With humility, it also brings you face to face with your own vulnerabilities in a way you have never considered possible. And with that, a new perspective on everything. The Princess of Wales also notes this time has above all reminded William and me to reflect and be grateful for the simple yet important things in life, which so many of us often take for granted, or simply loving and being loved. Well, they're going to have difficulties with that last part, but they're going to find that last part rather difficult. And you know what? That was the end of the article. I don't get I don't get this. If you wanted someone to translate this for you, I'm going to assume that this means I'm not coming back to work unless I feel like it. Um, an article like this, the palace really should put out a disclaimer. This no way reflects anything that it doesn't reflect our values. But I think they want people to read it and believe it. They want people to read it and believe it. It's kind of like throwing a rock and hiding your hand. They want to, throw some rocks, but they just don't want people to know that they're doing it. Or at least they don't want people to know with certainty that they're doing it. But because they do speak through the tabloids, leaking and briefing, then you really have to use judgment to decide whether or not there's any merit to it. I said that I believe that there's a reset, and I explained to you that there was a reset for William with the beard and all of that. I felt like Rebecca English was helping to orchestrate some type of a reset for William. But I didn't really consider a reset for Kate because I don't suspect we're going to see her that much because Kate is not ever, and that's why they kept saying Kate may never come back to work again, or you won't see Kate again this year because whatever negotiation was going on during that period when Kate was missing, they had made some decisions about the future of her and the firm. and how often she'll work or whether she'll work at all. William has already said that he's not going to be a traditional royal cutting ribbons, that he intends to do high impact outings, but not as often. In other words, he wants to be his brother, right? He wants to be his brother. He wants to be Harry and Meghan. That is what he really means. And to help him with that, um, like I said, she has been leading the narration this entire time. Everyone within the royal rotor follows her lead. Okay. She is not, I don't believe she's the editor of the Daily Mail, but Victoria Newton is the editor of The Sun, and they're both singing from the same hymn book. This is a reset. They come back from vacation. They've been off for what, 7 weeks. There's been a whispering campaign against them because of the lack of work and the fact that they just got that huge increase to the sovereign grants. And so, in order to seem like they are relevant and strong, as Toni Morrison say, if the only way you can stand tall is to have me on my knees, then you're the one with the problem, which is how she described racism, is that you have to push other people down so that you can stand tall. And that is what the firm has been attempting to do with the Sussexes. And it has not been easy because the weight of Harry and Meghan's personality is not easy to defeat. They have not defeated them, and they're not likely to defeat them. Them leaving was not a weakness. That puts them in a position of strength. If you stay, then you have to play by their rules. But if you leave, you get to define the rules that you will play by, right? You get to make it up as you choose. But if you stay, then you have to tap dance to their music. So them leaving actually puts them in an incredible position of strength because as I said, in Montecito, where is it? Hold on. You know I got to do it. There are no leaks. And for that reason, they cannot get a handle on them. And they're very frustrated by that. And that's why Richard Kay was sitting up there almost in tears, because in Montecito, there are no leaks. I like that one. Okay. Now, just a reminder, I came across this today just by chance, but here you go. Princess Kate's condition is not cancerous despite emergency abdominal surgery. Remember, they said it was not an emergency. This is January the 17th. But Harper's Bazaar believes it was an emergency. They said it was scheduled. They went out of their way to say that it was scheduled and non-cancerous. So while there are, most people are, giving them the benefit of the doubt, you can understand why some people are just like, really? 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 That's all. Now, Meghan Markle beams as she and Prince Harry attends Tyler Perry's star-studded birthday bash with Oprah and best friend Gayle King. Photographers caught the couple being driven, the filmmakers, oh, they're missing something, right? Being driven in the filmmakers' 55th birthday They seem in great spirits as Meghan was pictured grinning and giggling. They partied alongside a slew of other famous faces like Oprah and Gail. Well, you know what? If ever I was glad to have a good old fashioned paparazzi photo, this is the occasion because they were trying to ruin Harry's birthday. They were trying to upset Meghan. They were trying to distract from that failure of a video from Kitty and Company, and it didn't work. Now, I'm not going to, go through all of those photos. I know you've seen them already. I'll just leave the headline there for a second because they're not quality photos and they are creepy and paparazzi photos. But Harry's double date. This is the image that they have for today. Whatever you're trying to say, whatever you're doing, guess who's out enjoying herself and having a good time? Guess who is unmoved and unbothered, living their best life in Montecito, where there are no leaks. They are living their best life and unbothered. So, again, there's a bunch of photos. They're not great quality. And trust me, you're not missing anything. So, avoid giving them the engagement. Esmeralda says the Bear and the Press love her and she dissed them. They love the money they're making. Yeah, they love the money they're making. Um, I don't know if the press is capable of love, especially when you consider someone like Becky the Blob, who has spent so much time with Harry, but under the guidance of the firm, has set out to do everything that she can to be very shady and deceptive and to create some narrative that makes the Sussex. I mean, Becky the Blob actually wrote an article. There's no way back. What have they done? She wrote those articles. When you go and look at who has written these articles over time, and you see the pattern of their reporting, then it leaves no doubt that there is not even the attempt of objectivity. There's not even a whisper of it, which is so disturbing because even like this right here, take a look at this. And by the way, thank you, Esmeralda, for your comment. Take a look at that headline, Harry's double date. These headlines are designed to gaslight and deceive, right? This one may be very well true, but most people will just look at what's there. Like, this is the worst thing that's happened since what was it? The abdication. When Harry and Meghan left, they still try to compare them to the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. And most of the public are not going to read those articles, but they see the headlines. And it's like an electronic billboard. Because at some point, you're going to come across it on social media, especially if the tabloids are in your algorithm. You're going to see it. And so, just reading the headline, you have either just simply been informed or the damage is done. They want to plant negativity in your psyche. They want you to have this guttural reaction to certain people, right? You see Kamala Harris, there's just something about her. I don't like her. You see Hillary Clinton, oh, there's just something about her. I don't like her. You see Meghan, oh, there's just something about her. I don't like her. And the reason why people, in most cases, can't even give you any information, they don't know any, but they have been conditioned by the tabloids to believe that it must be true. So I must admit, this one really did trigger me because I could see the obvious damage that they were trying to do. And I was doubting myself as to whether or not it was even worth mentioning. But I feel vindicated because it was all that people were talking about, um, today was, well, people within a certain demographic because of how obvious it was. And the big backfire is what they thought was going to be so damaging is like a big eye roll, a big collective eye roll. Reducing grown men to tears, I'm afraid all I can do is stand, right? I'm a stand. I'm standing with her as a fan. I'm a stand. So, this headline that Meghan is a dictator who terrifies staff has reduced grown men to tears is such an old trope. And then if you look at the 231,000 likes compared to Kate's Herbal Essence Summer Eve um, pharmaceutical commercial, which doesn't have, well, actually, it's been out about a week or so, and it has more likes than you could shake a stick at, but still not more than this article that's only been out a couple of days. And those likes are not disapproval. Those are people who are liking the article because they approve. They're like, good for her. Good for her. Because it's a pattern where women, in particular black women, are always framed as this horrible person if she is in any way um, resourceful, intelligent, um, successful, then that is the common trope. So Sussex Soldier says, we stand Meghan Markle. We stand with Meghan Markle. And let's see, is it Reggie? Says, reducing grown men to tears. I'm afraid all I can, well, that's the one from there, right? Yeah, it is. And then this one, Duchess of Advocacy, says, this post has over 100,000 likes and counting. Way too many women in positions of authority are getting tired of being accused of being a bully just because we are clear, precise, and direct when we want stuff done the right way the first time. And then Adam McIntyre says, Queen, low key wish was real because it would make me love her more. Okay. Oh, wait, got a couple more of them. So over here, she must really love him because honestly, this is a lot to have to go through just to put up with for love. Um, I'd be gone first thing Monday morning. I'd lean into the power of bailing, right? But someone decided to just remind us old made up stories glued together. So just like that photo, Kate's Franken photo, it's just a bunch of stuff cobbled together. There's no reality in it. Let me see. Harry's 40th birthday today. Quick, find something to trash his wife with. Hurry up. He can't have a happy 40th quick. It doesn't matter if it's made up. We'll just say the sources are anonymous, so we can't be done. So we can't be done for it. Okay. Meghan is a bully. That's always a good one, but we've done it before. Can't we think of anything? No, can't think of anything else we haven't done. Used haven't used through, so we will go with that again. The article sounds to be out of time. Great work, everyone. Have an early finish. Okay, so that was Sunny Side Up speaking in the voice of desperate, cruel, mean spirited tabloid people. And then Pendo says, I don't think it's the birthday thing. I think it's to change the subject from how baldy and fake sepia tone BS video from the Cambridges flopped. They have a serious issue conveying authenticity, and they slander these two to slow down the comparison being made with it. So I agree with these people, first off. I agree with them. But when you look at the comments for some of these things, there are probably 10 times as many negative comments toward the Sussexes as there are positive comments, or at least people saying, hey, just leave them alone. The reason why is because it's just like when they take a poll. Those polls, those little straw polls that they use with those articles, 99% of the time, people clicked on the article because the headline is like, oh, guess what? We gave you another reason to hate this person or that person. So that's why most people are going to click on it. Then there are some people that are just like baited into it because they're just like, now what? But the majority of the people that follow and read these tabloids are people that are like minded with the editorial process for that particular paper or news agency or whatever. Like a Fox News person, they don't know what else is going on in the world because they're only watching Fox News. They're not watching the other networks. Sadly, the other networks have a smaller pie to compete with the other networks, while Fox has a very large, commanding portion of the pie because um, they're, well, for a long time they were the one source. Now there's Newsmax and a couple of other ones, but um, most people would just end up on Fox, but it's being a bit diluted now. However, um, there's a solid minority of people that are going to keep up with everything anti-liberal, I don't like to say the word woke, but that too. Anything that is not considered to be liberal values, they're smaller in number, but they are more consistent, which means that when they vote, they don't um, fall in love with the candidate, they fall in line. Whereas, let's say the Democrats, they don't fall in line, they fall in love, which means that not everybody is going to vote. Some people are going to be so disenchanted, they'll just stay home. And that is what the right wing depends upon, is that very solid majority, albeit smaller than, well, yes, yeah, so it's a solid minority, but they tend to sing from the same hymn book, and they tend to act in unison compared to the more emotional and distracted liberal side of things. And then, of course, there's some people that are just kind of in between. And the way you win them over is, you keep I guess a lot of the conservatives using anger. And the way you get the people that are on the fence is with fear. Anger and fear is what drives the right wing. Works for them all the time. Anger and fear. Yeah, they're not on social media. And Um, uh, First and foremost, it's clickbait. It really is clickbait. It's not really so much a message for Harry or Meghan. It is clickbait. But the timing of it, I do believe that it was also designed to, um, you know, sow seeds of destruction for Harry's birthday weekend. Let's see. Sunny Side Up says more tabloid trash talk the day before Harry's birthday. Nothing else to see here. Shirley Hindley says they say that about all strong women. Give it a rest. Sunny Side Up says more claims from unverified anonymous sources, but with no evidence. Yet again, the usual perfect timing for Harry's 40th birthday. The desperation is hilarious. Red Label says this article is fake as that, and you're bullying this woman because she wants nothing to do with that family. Why has no one presented any evidence of her bullying anyone? Leave Harry and Meghan alone. This article mentioned her latest podcast, which was 2 years ago. This is all for clicks and ad revenue. Exactly. Let's see. Nazir says, we know the kind of men who would be reduced to tears by women. Wonder what that's supposed to mean. Like the Duchess Meghan, being a dictator is not the same as standing up for what is right and refusing to conform to outdated norms. Meghan is a feminist who knows her worth and has had the courage to challenge those who try to silence her. Enough with the misogynistic narrative that attacks a woman simply because she refuses to be intimidated. Nah, I like that one. And Carmela says the media's bullying machine is out in force after William and Kate released that nasty video. You need to distract the masses. Once again, Harry and Meghan to be scapegoated. Get a new tactic. This one is too obvious and way too overdone. Here, here. Hello, Ivy here. Hey, Ivy. Top of the morning to you. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. Let me see. Taking a look at some of your comments here. Oh, let me put this at the top of the chat. Okay. All right, there we go. Sussex Global UK. Please make sure you guys go over there and watch, like, and subscribe. Ivy has been writing some very, very brilliant things. And I tell you, I'm always a much smarter person for following Ivy's channel. So please make sure you go over there. It does not cost you anything. Do it right now. Go and like and subscribe and enjoy the content that's available on Sussex Global UK. All right. Okay. And was I through with this one? Yes. So take a look at that. Take a look at that. Princess Anne's brutal temper laid bare. She can snap and make grown men cry. Good grief, that's familiar. It's almost as familiar as Meghan Markle is a dictator who terrified staff has reduced grown men to tears. Yes. Or how about Kamala Harris berated staff with F bombs, leaving them in fear, in turn told not to make eye contact. It's old, it's stale, it's so out of date, and yet they keep doing it. And I cannot imagine that everybody that reads this stuff, well, not every, I'm saying, I meant to say the haters and derangers that perpetuate and read this stuff, surely they don't believe it. But a lie will do. They will lie. They will lie whenever it suits them. And they know it's a lie. Now, I don't know the full story, but it appears that some of the people with their YouTube hate channels have been getting in trouble and exposed a bit lately. The Deranger channels, they constantly fight with each other. They're not successful with fundraisers. And also, there's a few of them that are just straight up scam artists. I promise you, they are absolutely scam artists. And they have taken people's money like a legal defense fund for any of the hate channels or anyone that gets in trouble. I'm going to secure a lawyer, send me some money, so on and so forth. Really? Now that was about 2 years ago. I don't know whatever happened with that, but um, it's like with Thomas Markle Jr. He has the most vulgar material. He says things about his sister that no man should ever say to a woman, let alone your mother or your sister. And he gets a lot of money because of it, because of his um, hatred, because of how foul and vicious his language is. People actually give him money. And it was so bad at one time that I think he had to take the video down. It was awful. It would make you sick on your stomach. So I would recommend that if you value your mental health, do not, I repeat, do not look at it. But it was the worst thing that you could say. Awful. I don't even know if he still has a channel, but it was very, very bad. Meghan Markle screamed at staff, left them broken and shaken with fear, new book claims. Let me see. Reduce grown men. Okay. Yeah, reduce grown men to tears. She needs to write a book and teach the rest of us how to do the same. Let me see. This other one says the racism, misogyny, and xenophobia playbook never changes. Oh, wait a minute. Last week, wasn't it Kamala being accused of this? Right? Peggy Blair was just like, hey, we just heard this last week, but you were talking about the vice president. Now, this week is Meghan. Same old tired playbook. Now, the minister of hacks. Let's take a little soundbite from him. Always a pleasure. By the way, while I'm setting this up, you guys, I steamed some catfish so that it would be nice and soft and digestible for, my situation. Oh my. When I tell you I picked at that carcass, it was so good. I put it in a steamer. I love the steam stuff. It was so good. It gave me my life. It was just that good. If you don't steam, try it. I got a steamer and I love the steam stuff. Okay, where is the minister of hacks? Uh-oh. Do I not have him? I thought I saved it. Mm-mm. Okay, now this is not helpful. Wow, and I was doing so good with that lately. Um, yeah, but this time I absolutely don't have it. Wait, but I can do it the long way. Give me a second. That catfish was so good. I put some lemon pepper on it. Oh, it just melts. It melts. I love catfish. Okay. Oh boy, that's too loud. So, Minister of Hacks. Or is it ministry? Okay. Oh, there it is. Got it.
But comments are open, would love your opinion. This headline shows the magnitude of the problem that the British taxpayer working royal family have. In that, Prince Harry at 40 is more popular than the King abroad. And it's not in a couple of countries. This is in a whole groups of countries on different continents where he is preferred and more liked than the King. And that's a huge problem for the British taxpayer funded working royal family, because to be as popular, they need to focus on themselves. They need to change themselves. Their approach and their delivery needs to change, and they need to do more of it. But as we've discussed on this account, and many other people say, they either can't do it or they don't want to do it. And because they won't change or can't change, Prince Harry will continue to be the most popular member of a family that he's voluntarily left. That's a huge problem when the monarchy's in crisis. And in the UK, we are having a continual debate about whether the monarchy is relevant in 2024, 2025, and beyond, because Harry is technically no longer a member of the monarchy. The country's fine without him, and he's fine without us. Comments are open. Let me know what you think. More.
Okay. So there you go. That is the Minister of Hacks. He's on um, TikTok. There are some great people on TikTok, by the way. Oh, no. I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, I love catfish. It was so good. So I have one of those red copper pans, and it has like a little pedestal that you can use for steaming. So I bought an 8x8 baking pan, and I put that inside of the square red copper pot and put the lid on it, and the steam, I guess, in about 20 minutes to be certain, because you almost cannot destroy catfish. It cooked through and through, and it was delicious. It just melts in your mouth. That was like the best thing that I've had since the hospital. But that's another story. So good, so good. It was just like I didn't want it to end. And then also I let me see what else. Oh, and I put some butter on top so the butter would just melt into it. Mm-mm-mm. So good. Okay, so Byline investigates new illegal tabloid tracking scandal. I think I'm going to make one of my videos using this article. But yes, they're still at it. They're still at it. They're still, the easy thing that they're doing is those tags that you can buy that cost, well, next to nothing for what they're capable of. But yeah, they're still at it. They are still at it. Celebrity photographer is it Matt Sparks? I can barely see that. And Andy Stone allegedly fixed tracking on a vehicle they were following. The snappers took for Splash News, one of Britain's top paparazzi agencies. Their pictures are published in The Sun, The Mirror, and the Daily Express, the Mail Online, and the Mail on Sunday. Spark and Stone were allegedly targeting. Oh, good God, that is. Ooh, I can't see that. Hold on. Let me try to do something here. Let me do this. That should work. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm using one of my alternative screens here. One of the squatties was kind enough to buy me not one, but two, what is it, 27-inch screens. So in those situations, I just merely drag it over to another one. This was like super, super thoughtful and very, very necessary. Okay, so Sparks and Stone were allegedly targeting Paula Vinell's, the controversial former boss of the post office. The pair were arrested outside Vinell's home in Bedfordshire after following her husband, John Wilson, who was driving her car. Are you serious? They're still at it. They're still at it. Okay. I don't talk about this enough. I don't know that I ever talked about it at all. There's supposed, okay, with the Apple AirTag, if you get an alert on your phone, which works most of the time and usually all of the time with an Apple phone, your phone will tell you that you are being um, followed, or that, well, they don't use the term followed, but they let you know that somewhere within the proximity of your location, there is an AirTag pinging off of your phone. So if you don't know how the AirTag works, I'll explain it as best I can. The AirTag actually links with the signal of any Apple phone that is nearby. So when you walk past someone's vehicle, that AirTag will send a signal to anybody's iPhone, including you walking by, and it will locate whatever item or vehicle, it will locate it on the map. So it will say, matter of fact, let me take a look because I have an AirTag that is not with me right now, and I'll tell you what it says. But like when I travel, it will tell me that my suitcase is at the hotel or whomever's house I may be visiting or something like that. So it says right here, my backpack is with me. My luggage is with me. My wallet is with me. But the other item was recently pinged or identified or located 9 minutes ago. So that means 9 minutes ago, someone with an iPhone was near the other item, right? And it lets you know the distance of how far that item is from your location. If you're a quarter mile away, it lets you know that. So that is how the AirTag works. So when you put an AirTag in your suitcase, you can see where your suitcase is located. This one guy had an AirTag in his vehicle, and he told the police, he's like, listen, my car is at the loading dock or at the harbor or whatever. And the police went down and looked for his car, but they didn't see it. They said, sorry, there's nothing we could do about it. In actuality, his car was already loaded in a shipping container. The very next time that AirTag alerted him of the location, the car, I think, was in the United Arab Emirates. It was somewhere in the Middle East. His vehicle, his SUV, was somewhere overseas. in the Middle East, and the AirTag did not go off while it was, on that shipping container at sea. But once someone with an iPhone got close to it, it was like, hey, I'm on the other side of the world. So I hope that was helpful. But that is how the AirTags work. It uses a location triangulated by the cell phone signal. So um, by triangulating the location, it can be very precise. I mean, about as close as, let's say, a 10-foot square area. Okay, so that's it. That's how they can keep track of you. If you think that someone is following you or whatever, and I'm not trying to scare you, but you need to know this. Some people have taken their cars to a mechanic and they put the car up on the lift and they thoroughly go over the bottom of the car, and that's how they find the AirTag. Sometimes it's like under the back bumper or somewhere hidden like next to the tailpipe or whatever. Okay, sorry if that's scary, but you need to know how these things work. Continue. I think the biggest part of being a girl boss in the office, at home, or anywhere you go is just knowing your value. Meghan Markle. Yes, that is the biggest part, is knowing your value and your worth. Speaking of worthless, speaking of worthless, take a look at that sourpuss. Uh, Prince William has no interest in restoring contact with Prince Harry. Could he if he wanted to? Would he have the energy to even dial the phone or raise his hand or even speak? Anyway, friends of his and wife Kate Middleton have told the Daily Beast again, despite the couple's yesterday sending birthday wishes to Harry on social media, another source said their message was sent to align with King Charles, who himself sent a message as a matter of routine because it was a significant birthday, his 40th, and as things stand, a message will not be sent to Harry next year. You know what? I don't suppose they know how childish and ridiculous this is. I don't suppose they get that. Again, if the only way you can be strong is to try to push me down, you have a problem. It is not my problem, it is your problem. If that is the only way you can big him up, and I believe it was Henry VIII that said that long time ago, is that in order to make William seem strong, or this is a tactic they use for any weak man to make them seem strong, they will do things like this. They will leak information like this. Like, for instance, the incandescent with rage. I do believe that backfired because Harry um, wrote in Spare that William attacked him. Now, if you notice, they don't use incandescent with rage anymore. They avoid that. Whereas before, every other article was incandescent with rage, incandescent with rage. When was the last time you've heard William was incandescent with rage? They don't use it because they don't want him to be identified in that way because of Spare, because it's not a good look for him. But when they thought it made him seem decisive and strong and a force to be reckoned with, rather than an alleged drunkard who is leading a double life allegedly, who has never seen a let alone tasted a pulled pork sandwich that he didn't like. The only way that you can make him bigger and stronger is to use these petty, childish put downs on the Duke of Sussex. Lex says, what's the point in sending a message? People know how petty and trifling these people are. Just highlight that you are pathetic pieces of crap. Here, here. And YM Droid, by the way, thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Will's looking more like the Duke of Kent, minus what is that? Going places. Every day at this rate, he should just be happy he still has all of his ears. Oh, yeah, you mean because the Duke of Kent um, kind of lost a little chunk of his, didn't he? As a matter of fact, let's take a look at the Duke of Kent, and you can see the resemblance. There is a resemblance, a very strong resemblance at that. Let me see here. Oh, and by the way, as for sending a by the way, thank you, YM Droid. As for extending an olive branch, according to some, this is what the olive branch looks like. That's extending the olive branch. Let me take this away so you can see it clearly. That seems like the way they extend the olive branch. You really, really have to keep one eye open or have one eye on them and the other eye on whatever else is necessary at the time, because figuratively speaking, this is extending the olive branch, um, Windsor style. That's the old Windsor olive branch. Yep. Pretty scary, isn't it? That's the Windsors. Okay, now what was I looking? Oh yeah, Duke of Kent. Duke of Kent. Duke, 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 Duke of Kent. Duke, Duke, Duke of Kent. Duke, Duke, Duke of Kent. Okay. Let me see, which one do I want to share? I got so many of them. And how about that one? William? Oh my goodness. Woo! Woof. That does look like William, doesn't it? That is William all day long. Remember that shady thumbnail where I substituted, let's see, ghost written memoir of an overprivileged work-shy royal, another book for the 99 pen spin. And look at there. If I didn't tell you that that was the Duke of Kent, you would have just assumed that William had written a book. But nope, it's not William. That is the Duke of Kent. Yep, that is the Duke of Kent. That is a scary looking dude. This is why cousins shouldn't marry. This is why cousins shouldn't marry. When cousins marry, pieces of your ear drop off. The BBC named Kate Middleton and King Charles as racist family members who made remarks about Archie's skin. You guys, this is the gift that keeps giving. You know, Harry and Meghan did not set out in the Oprah interview to accuse anybody of being a racist. Meghan simply wanted to make public the idea that they were trying to take Archie's birthright. And at the time, she was still carrying Lilibet Diana. They were trying to take his birthright. And Meghan sounded the alarm that there had been conversation about the baby's skin color and how is that going to look. Also, they were saying that they were not going to be made prince and princess. Had Meghan not said anything, then chances are there would have never been any confirmation of what legally happens the day Queen Elizabeth dies. And I remember at the time I said that it's not a matter of Charles making them prince and princess. The thing is, Charles doesn't have to do anything, but he would have to actively take the path of removing their titles, which, of course, as far as I know, is an act of parliament. Charles cannot do that himself because of the royal patent. So I suppose he would have tried to issue another royal patent that he would sign, and I believe it would need the approval of the parliament. But by doing so, I mean, just think about it. They just, what was that? They just removed the last 92 hereditary members of parliament. There was over 400 at one time. Over 400. Do you know that the United States Congress consists of 500 and, or no, is it 435 members or is it 535? I think it's 435 Congress people and 100 senators, right? Which is right. It's either 435 or 535. The point is, the United States is how many times larger than the United Kingdom? Huge, huge. And at one point, we were going to keep getting new Congress people, new members of Congress for X amount of people in the population. Now they have stopped it and they hold it at, I believe, 435. And so that 435 must be divided amongst the members of Congress now. So the amount of Congress people you have, which is like the House of Commons, really, depends on the population of your state. Some states are so small that they only got one congressman, but they got two senators. But each state has two senators. Thank you, YM Droid. All right, so I was right. It's 435 in the House and 100 in the Senate. And they refer to it as Congress, but the members of the House of Representatives are usually referred to as congressmen or congresswoman, and the members of the Senate are usually referred to as senator, but combined, they are Congress. Oh, thank you, Two Legs. Is 535 for the Electoral College? It would be higher for Senate if they approve Puerto Rico and DC and the other territories for statehood, which I really think they should. I mean, if they can have a Social Security card, then they should be considered part of these United States. BBC named King Charles and Kate Middleton in the alleged royal racist row over remarks about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's son Archie's skin color. I'm glad this happened. At first, I was like a little nervous, but over time, let me tell you, it's the gift that keeps giving because they are never, ever going to escape this. Before, the royal family was a quietly racist institution. They were at the height of white supremacy. Now, they are very publicly shouted down as colonizers. The way that the queen lived will never happen again. Nobody is ever going to sit on that throne that long. Not likely to happen. That was just by chance. Really a product of the fact that people are living longer than they were um, 100 years ago, 200 years ago. Um, Also, the public is more educated. The mystique is gone, is forever gone. Charles, I'm just going to say, Charles III has been the biggest, most devastating thing that has ever happened to that monarchy. Taking that concubine, that adulterous affair, into an institution that is already struggling. They're trying to sell it as the love story of the ages, right? But the truth is, the king, the head of the church, the supreme governor of the Church of England, is an adulterer. And everybody knows it. You cannot unring that bell. Everybody knows it. And you will never, ever get the respect that you feel you deserve. People are always going to look at Charles as this transitional moment in the monarchy. The mother that he accused of being such a awful person, a really awful parent, is the one who made sure that he couldn't get on that throne for 70 years. Now he's a broken old shell of a man, still indecisive, still petty and childish. The same man who allowed the media and that spin doctor to manipulate and abuse his own children. He literally sacrificed their happiness so that he can recover for being so pathetic. And that's the truth. Nobody respects him. They tolerate him. And that's the difference. There's not much respect. He's tolerated. Prince Philip said himself that the ardent royalists, the most loyal royalists, are the ones that bring you down in the end. Those royalists, they are tolerating Charles, and I don't blame them because they could not imagine a world without the monarchy. The monarchy is a source of pride. It makes them feel unique. Some very meager, I would say mediocre people feel very important in this world because they have a functioning monarchy, just like it was in the old days. But they're a minority. Most people could give a toss about the monarchy, and their support is dying off every day by the hundreds. They're dying off. The next generation are not going to be as charitable because the genie has been let out the bottle and everybody can see how things work. And most people don't like what they're seeing. So it's just a matter of time. But he has been pathetic. He has been awful. And he's still allows the abuse of not only his youngest child, but the entire family. He could stand up on their behalf at any time, but he can't because he owes favors to those people that have divided his family. And that's the truth. That is the truth. He owes those people, just like I owe Omen Scobie. I owe him a debt of gratitude because he finished off what was started with with the Oprah interview and Spare. He just kind of finished it off. That was it. Put a nice little tidy bow on it. The only thing that I would say has not been breached at this point is that William, is that William? No, that's not William. Hold on. Okay. Let me find William. William. Oh, no, that's the Duke of Kent. Hold on a second. William has not been made the heavy. They are, wait, no, that's not him. Let me see. Where's William? Okay. William. Woo! Anyway, if that is William, William is not allowed to fail. So that they have not succeeded. William has to succeed at all costs. Charles can be sacrificed, figuratively speaking, but not William, because they need William. He's the future. They're going to need him for a few years. So they can't sacrifice him. But everybody else, they can go. There it is. That is why those two are the accused and not William. I still believe it was William. I believe it was all of them. But I think the major player where that situation is concerned, I'm going to allege and believe that William is the culprit. I do. I believe it was William. And of course, Kate, who is some days practically nonverbal, she muttered along with it because she doesn't really have a personality of her own. And as one writer said, you couldn't cobble together an entire personality between them. And just to prove it, I am going to do what I have often done. I'm going to reach out to Kensington Palace for comment.
Well, obviously, it'd be. I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously, on to this day, and going forward and things. It is. It's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So. Yeah, I do.
And on that is that's pretty much how it went. Prince William and Kate Middleton are met with boos at Boston Celtics game. I was thinking today, if they ever try to come back, because did you notice when William came here last time, he didn't bring Kate? And the reason why he didn't bring Kate is because of this. That's why he didn't bring her. He could not bring her because he hasn't been identified in the same way as Charles and and her. Now, at the time, to be fair, at the time, Kate's name had not been mentioned until I think December. William came to the U.S. in um, September. Did they know that was coming? I don't know. But still, when William went to the Caribbean, Kate was with him. Kate is the one who is very dominant in that photo, reaching toward those children at the fence. I believe between the two of them, she really came off looking the worst. Kate is the one who seems to have had the big falling out with Meghan more so than William. Kate is identified as the villain more so. William is more Harry's villain, whereas Kate is more Meghan's villain, even though the whispering, leaking, and briefing obviously came from Kensington Palace. But I think Kate is really identified as the antagonist to Meghan. So I think it's just easier for him to move without her. At least that's what he was hoping. Lex says, I think that was the excuse not to bring her. He decided long before not to bring her because he, like King Charles III, doesn't like competition. True. He doesn't like Kate and regrets his decision. Yeah, I believe that. The only way that people can accept him is they can wonder what Kate is going to wear, but nobody pays attention to him because it's all about Kate's hair, how big her hair is, how thick her hair is, and is she going to flash the crowd today? That kind of thing. So, yeah, that is very true. I certainly believe that is a major part of it. Is that he doesn't like losing that level of attention. It's like when Charles gives a speech and people are only concerned with Diana, and that William hasn't been as verbal about it, but I do believe it's a factor. Charles made it very obvious because of his little snide remarks and such that he could not take the idea of Diana being such a superstar. Kate, you almost don't notice it because Kate does not have much of a personality. However, she does distract attention away from the global statesman. So I'm going to say that is very accurate. But I still believe that because of the Caribbean tour, that maybe he sees her as a source of embarrassment. And it really didn't get any better in Boston. Boston was pretty bad too. Yeah, it does make you wonder. That was a stupid video. That was stupid. There's nothing about that video that made sense. Very stupid. I love her, but is this her first time clapping? Kate and Wills are gently mocked online for their awkward appearance at Boston Celtics game. The thing is, they're both awful. I don't think people are all that crazy about her. To be fair, I don't think they're all that crazy about either one of them. Good God, this is worse than watching people in church trying to keep the beat, clapping for the first time ever. Proud of Kate for clapping for what appears to be the first time. And then, of course, whatever that GIF is right there. And then the bottom one says, I really do love her, but oh, yeah, same thing there. So it didn't go well for them in Boston. It did not go well. I think that Kate is a source of embarrassment, and maybe he's hoping to just bring a different energy if she's not there. I believe that's the other thing, is that he's just hoping that the energy will be a little different if she's not there. Let's see, why Prince William and Kate were booed at their U.S. tour. Watch Prince William and Kate Middleton get booed at the Boston game. I mean, God, that was everywhere, wasn't it? The Caribbean, and you almost forget about how bad Boston was for them, but Boston was pretty bad too. Boston was pretty bad. Let me see. So Time Magazine, Cosmopolitan, and the New York Post. Kate, let me see. Prince William and Kate mocked U.S. chant boos at Celtic game. New video shows Prince William and Kate Middleton being mocked with raucous chants of USA, USA. And then, of course, take a look there on the right. Bostonians take on the Royals' whirlwind visit. Whatever. As breathless online commentary tracked the royal couple every move during their visit, slaves of their host city remain unimpressed. So much for global statesmen. So much for the global statesman. And then, of course, this was my favorite part of Boston. Before she began working for the city of Boston, Reverend White Hammond was an ordained elder in the African Methodist Episcopal Church. The AME Church. Consider the legacy of colonialism and racism. Black Reverend opens William and Kate's Earthshot event with awkward lecture on historic prejudice just hours after palace race scandal triggered by Prince's own grandmother. I'm sorry, godmother. I'm sorry, not grandmother, godmother. Prince William and Kate Middleton touched down in Boston on Wednesday afternoon, having traveled to the U.S. on a commercial flight for the sake of appearances, of course. And look at their faces. Don't you love it? Look at their faces. This is going to follow them everywhere. Do you understand? This is going to follow them. So if they had not spent that whole year whispering and conspiring against Meghan and Harry, if they would have left them alone when they first left the firm, then the Oprah interview would not have happened. But Harry said that the reason why they wanted to do the interview is because after a year of silence, the whispering and what do you call it? The conspiring, right? The leaking and briefing did not stop. So that's why they did the Oprah interview. And because of the Oprah interview, we know that there was this preoccupation with Archie's skin tone, and they were trying to prevent the title of prince and eventually princess being conferred upon the children upon the death of the queen. Chronologically, that is pretty much the way it happened. And this is never going to leave them alone. This is going to follow them for the rest of their lives. Royal visit to Boston taxpayers cost Boston taxpayers more than $170,000. Compare that to Harry and Meghan going to Colombia, which was what, $60,000, 45,000 pounds. You see there? What a difference. The state police spent 61,000. So what they spent just for the state police presence is what is about the same amount that the Sussexes cost Columbia for the entirety of their trip to Columbia. Isn't that interesting? Wow. Isn't that interesting? Right? They're trying so hard to be Harry and Meghan. You guys, I'm telling you, this is the gift that keeps giving. When you go back and you look at some of this stuff, it's just like, almost forgot that happened. But it did. But it did. And look at William doing busy work. Prince William gets canceled by Eric Adams. The Prince of Wales was to meet with the mayor during latest visit to New York City, but instead settled for greeting the fire department commissioner, Laura Kavanaugh, at the Lower Manhattan Firehouse. Laura Kavanaugh doesn't look impressed. The fire chief, well, he doesn't look impressed. I'm just going to say nobody seems all that impressed. You know what? I've had my suspicions about that. I've had my suspicions about that. I was thinking that somehow they thought that, you know, how they have those country parties, those house parties in the country, and everybody's zooming each other. I kind of think that that was the attitude. I kind of think that that set, what do they call it? The smart set or whatever out there in the country, the ones that keep company with the Rose and her husband, William and Kate, and all the rest of that group of pompous, arrogant aristocrats. I do believe that they assumed that whoever Harry married was going to be dragged into that nonsense, or they would be roundly rejected. So I've thought about that. I have given that a lot of thought. Very interesting. Thank you for your comment. And considering how William is, he probably thought that he could demand the attention that he wanted and could not be refused. He probably thought he could command that attention and could not be refused, which is really sick to think about. But why would that not surprise me if it were true? Okay, I am going to change the pin at the top of the chat. There is the Sussex, Royal Sussex Amazon wish list. As always, no one is obliged to buy anything on the wish list. However, there are some rather inexpensive items that are nice surprises for me when I go to my authorized mail drop off, far away from where I live, by the way. And it's always surprising. Like I just finished the coffee pods that someone was nice enough to get for me. So you're not obliged to get anything, but it's fun. But don't feel pressured. Don't feel pressured. It's stuff that's been on there forever. So anyway, let me see here. Baby Sis Doll says, yep, that photo shows it. Willie licking his lips and Harry giving snake eye. Thank you so much for the super chat. What's that? Carolyn Kennedy also snubbed the Wells's Wells's duo in Boston. She popped in briefly to see them in her running gear. Jose Williams, are you sure? You know I got that slide coming up, right? I'm just being funny. Let me see. William wanted Meghan because he was with Harry. He always wanted whatever Harry had. He would have tried to treat badly and dispose of her because he could. Here, here. Thank you so much for that, Ivy. The mayor couldn't attend for the photo op. Playing statesman in a country you can't control is hard, isn't it, Baldy? Huh? Not easy being a big shot in New York, is it? Not easy being a big shot in New York. Eric Adams was like, nope. However, my very next slide, as I said, it was coming up. Carolyn Kennedy and John Kerry, both Irish Americans, by the way, both failed to show up to the William and Kate Earthshot event in Boston amid embarrassing race row in the UK as their first American trip in 8 years get off to an inauspicious start. I can't believe I pronounced that word. That's right. Both of them failed to show up. The weather. Yeah, right. Colonizers. Carolyn Kennedy and John Kerry both failed to show up for Will and Kate. It got off to an inauspicious start. It sure did. Awkward. Yep, playing big shot. No Eric Adams. And then, of course, the Secretary General, he couldn't get William out of that office fast enough. Boo. You get the tourist treatment. You are non-essential personnel. You are not the head of state, and you're certainly not a global statesman. So the exit is right here. Yeah. Right here. Photo op over. Hit the door, boo. All right. That's it. Ain't got time. I got to deal with some adults. Leave. We're done. So poor William. He was born with a silver foot in his mouth. Oh, is that Harry, Meghan, and Eric Adams in the same space? Do you mean to tell me that Eric Adams, mayor of New York City, took the time to go over to the United Nations to visit with Harry and Meghan, along with the governor of the state of New York? Now, at the time, of course, Eric Adams was the chief of police, but still, he wanted to be there because, after all, it was Harry and Meghan. What a cordial relationship they must have. And of course, the what's his name was mayor at the time. But look at Eric Adams, just smiling, just happy to be, ain't he? How sweet. I mean, people just poured out of every corner of the city, hoping to spend some time with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Oh, that was a great visit. And poor William, who was hoping that, let me see, I can't remember, who was he trying to get over to the ambassador's residence? He was hoping to have a meeting with someone. As you can see, there's an empty chair. There's another glass of water for this very important visitor who never showed up. Woo! Oh, I tell you, playing busy show has its setbacks, don't it? Poor William. He can't help it. He was born with a silver foot in his mouth. And there's a Andy Warhol image of the Queen back there. Probably an original. But you know what's not original? William. Because you know, it's kind of like he knows what stuff looks like. He just doesn't know how to execute it. He was hoping that this trip was really going to put those Sussexes in their place. Now, I repeat, the chief of police, the chief of the fire department. See, there's Kavanaugh right there next to the lady in yellow. So you got the chief of the fire department, you have the chief of police, you have Harry and Meghan and some more people from the United Nations. At this point, they had already met with the governor and the mayor at the time, but poor Willie is sitting up there with an empty chair next to him, trying to look important. I mean, look at the face. I want y'all to take a look at that face again. Look at his face. He's looking so stern and so in control and commanding. Ooh, I tell you, he is a force to be reckoned with, this global statesman. Everybody can sense the authority that he has, and people are nearly brought to tears with joy of having this heretic around. When the truth is, like everybody else, they really wish it was Harry. So this is the other thing that I noticed is that his staff set up this meeting. Now, this is their little break area. This is their little place where they have their meetings and everything. They don't usually have cameras back there, but they were hoping that there was some place where William could sit opposite of the chain of command at the firehouse and have this photo op with the mayor. The mayor was supposed to be there, but sensing the ridiculousness of it, Eric Adams was like, nope, Eric Adams was nowhere to be found. He said, oh, you know what? I got a thing. So he didn't show up. And so there's Willie being a global statesman with his hands all cupped together, looking in control and everything. And look at Harry. This was Harry, what, 10, 12 years ago, whatever it was. He went to Ground Zero. He went to this very famous firehouse that lost so many people at the World Trade Center. And it was all so relaxed and endearing. And they gave him a t-shirt and everything. It was just beautiful. Look at the smiles. Look at how relaxed and charmed everybody is. Now compare it to this. What is this, parochial school or something? Let me see. I see someone trying to muster a smile on the left. The fire commissioner, or whatever he is there with all the uniform, he's forcing a grin. I see two forced smiles, one forced grin, and the rest of them, they look like they're in a hostage video. See the difference? Look at that. It's Harry. Oh, hey, William. Harry! Hey, William. See? And William knows that it's not going well, which is why he has that smug look on his face, because the mayor snubbed him. Eric Adams snubbed William, the global statesman. Maybe Eric Adams didn't know that he was a global statesman. Maybe next time they will make sure that they will say, Mr. Mayor, Prince William, the global statesman, right? You got to put that on there. Otherwise, how could Eric Adams know? He probably thought it was just Prince William. The only thing that Eric Adams knew for sure is that it wasn't Prince Harry. And so when he found out that it wasn't Prince Harry, he lost interest, right? Now, I have to say, Eric Adams was a little clumsy when he was cornered about the Sussexes and that ordeal that they had. But I have to remind you all that the very next time the Sussexes came to town, they had so much security, they were all over him like a cheap suit. They couldn't even hardly move their vehicle for all of the security. So, in the end, he came through. All is forgiven. And that's all that matters. And of course, William, when he went to New York the last time, we still don't know why he did it, but he decided to create a new Marvel Comics character. Prince William is Oysterman. Yes, Prince William is Oysterman. He is out in the Hudson Bay solving all types of crimes and preventing the evildoers from doing stuff to those oysters. So it's not as though William has not found his calling. So it's an independent movie, low budget, but look for it in an art movie house near you. It's Prince William as Oysterman. He'll show Meghan who's the actor in the family. So, with that, you guys, I am going to end with this comment. This be patient with me. I'm somewhere between losing my mind and finding my soul. Okay? So be patient with me. Let that give you something to go by this week. Try to be as productive as possible. And of course, try to be there for your friends and your family and your friends that are family. If there's anything I learned from that trip to the hospital is that all of this other material stuff does not matter. What matters are the people that love you and care for you. That is the most important thing. So, yeah, but we're all a work in process. We're not ever complete. We always have to, just like a doctor, we practice medicine, we practice being our best selves. You practice law. You know, these are pillars of the community, but yet they have a practice. They have a law practice. They have a medical practice because one should never assume that you know it all. So we also have to practice at being the best human being we can possibly be. All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much. And thank you to the moderators for keeping this a safe space. And thank you for all of your thoughtful prayers when I was, I still have not, I haven't the courage to look at it, but I'm going to do that this weekend. I had tried to get through it, but it was so emotional, but I'm still going to go back and do that because I read a few. I kind of scanned through a few, but I got a little emotional. So I'm like, I can't do this right now. But I'm stronger now, so I think I can do it. But yeah, so thank you again. But believe me, your prayers worked, and I'm back here healthy and still talking stuff. Okay. Bye from Ivy. Wait, bye from Ivy. Bye for now. Bye. uh Okay, okay. So I'm gonna go because Lydia's gonna be dozing off at work tomorrow if I don't. So I will see you all.
Wife.
My wife.
My wife. My wife and I.
My wife and I.
My wife and I. My wife and I.
For me and my wife.
Me and my wife. I'm so proud of my wife.
My incredible wife.
And an amazing wife.
The soulmate in my wife.
Thank you, my love. The mother to my children. The love of my life. My wife.
My wife.
My wife. My wife and I.
My wife and I.
My wife and I. My wife and I.
For me and my wife.
Me and my wife. I'm so proud of my wife.
My incredible wife.
And an amazing wife.
The soulmate in my wife.
Thank you, my love. The mother to my children. The love of my life.
I just don't get it. I don't get any of it.
What do you mean? You don't get what?
I don't get why we're so obsessed with these humans that are exactly the same. Like, it could be us four sitting there. I just don't get it.
But are you talking about what you mean as royals or
Yeah.
as, like, Kim Kardashian? Because for me, they're becoming celebrities.
Well, yeah, to me, that's all they are.
The Queen
is their
for
celebrities.
me, is brilliant.
I
But
love
for
the
what?
Queen.
No,
For duty, responsibility,
She's always
figurehead.
worked really hard,
But
hasn't
I would
she?
work hard if the whole country paid for me to have like 12 houses and work really
But
hard.
they don't pay for all of the houses. But
Just a few.